So hello guys, welcome to the We Talk Show, where we talk about all the issues affecting our country, Kenya. And today we are going to talk about the current status of corruption in Kenya. Yeah, and I'm your host, Wilton Otieno. Welcome to the show. So corruption can be seen as various types of unlawful acts, and they usually involve a person abusing their power for their own benefit or for the people closely associated with them, such as family or friends. This can be public officers using public resources for their own private good, or even them offering improper contracts to corporate executives, or by taking other decisions in exchange for bribes. Corruption, however, is not an isolated country to Kenya, but to every country, a certain level of them goes. The issue of corruption in Kenya is a really big problem, and Kenya scores only 28% on the Corruption Perception Index, an index that ranks countries score out of 100, with 0 being the most corrupt and 100 being the cleanest. So, a study by Forbes released in December 2015 stated that even though the country had made significant improvement in many areas, corruption in the public and private sector is still a serious impediment hindering the country from achieving its full potential. So, in Kenya, the performance of businesses has been held back a great deal, with high corruption levels in almost all sectors of the economy. We are going to categorize the sectors where we have the most corruption cases in the country, and the first one is the judiciary. So in the judiciary, the Kenyan judicial system has been a center of public scrutiny over allegations of bribery and corruptions, threatening its very mandate of providing justice and legal redress to Kenyan citizens, and more importantly, a safe business environment. Businesses in Kenya usually face a risk of corruption when dealing with the judicial system in Kenya, as some companies, especially smaller ones, face unfair competitions from the giant companies due to bribes and irregular payments to those in the judiciary in order to delay or cover up for their illegal dealings. There are so many unresolved bribery scams that are court-related in Kenya, where companies and managers involved haven't been investigated and legal actions taken against them. Another sector where corruption has prevailed is the police service in Kenya. Corruption is rampant in Kenya's police sector, with the sector being ranked as the most corrupt sector in the country. Research shows that 3 out of 4 Kenyans consider all Kenyan police officers as corrupt. More than half of all Kenyans who have come in contact with the police is reported that in one way or the other have paid a bribe to be let free, even when they haven't committed any crime. Corruption in the sector, that is the police sector, has made it difficult for businesses in the country to operate efficiently. For example, bribes on Kenyan roads are the daily business as usual, where matatu operators have to pay to survive. Traffic policemen are spread all over the country to ensure safety on our roads, but on the contrary, they are even worsening safety on the same roads that they are required to guard because of bribes. Lack of safety on the roads is a big challenge to businesses and even individuals, as accidents occur day in, day out, causing a lot of losses, time wastage, lives and destruction of businesses' assets. Another sector where corruption is prevalent is the land administration sector. As we well know, land in Kenya is a very vital factor of production in an economy, as it is the backbone of economic and the facilitator of business activity, as without land, there shall be no business locations, neither business existence. In Kenya, corruption in land administration is very high, with Kenyans reporting a high possibility of bribery demands when in contact with land service officials. Corruption in the land administration sector is so rampant that even possession of a land title deed by business is not a guarantee for the legal ownership of the land, as someone can easily bribe the land registrar to revoke your title deed with cases of disappearance of real land title deeds from the land registrar's office, occurring frequently with no attempts made to trace them. And the last sector is the tax and customs administration sector. Tax administration carries a high risk of bribery and corruption in Kenya. Companies operating in Kenya claim that irregular payments and bribes in the process of tax payments are very common. Most Kenyans perceive most all tax officials as being corrupt. Tax rates are identified among the most difficult factors for businesses, and the yearly tax return filing is seen as being burdensome and unnecessary, failure to which attracts heavy penalties to firms and even individual residents. There have been cases of corruption witnessed in the sector, with one involving Kenya Revenue Authority officials and the British American Tobacco Company being on the limelight, the cigarette scandal, where the Kenya Revenue Authority officials accepted bribes so that the British American Tobacco Company could have an upper hand in the East African cigarette market of a local farm in Kenya. So, in conclusion, with all this stated, we as the We Talk show say that to end corruption in Kenya, we require a multi-phased approach that involves all stakeholders. It will require sustained effort and a commitment to change, but the benefits of a corruption-free society are numerous, including improved public services, increased trust in government institutions, and also a more prosperous and just society. We should all come together as Kenyans to end corruption and report the individuals that we know are involved in corruption to the specific required authorities. I was your host, Wilton Otieno. Thank you for listening.